The GallowgateShots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are back with a spontaneous live podcast here in the GallowgateShots studio. I am your host, Kris, joined by Matthew, and we are here after Newcastle's winning streak comes to an end. Sadly, crashes to an end. Crashes to end. But we thought we'd rather than just doing a match reaction as such, we thought we'd jump on and have a bit of a chat about all things Newcastle United and some of the fallout from yesterday's defeat to Bournemouth. Matty, I'm going to jump straight in because you done 2 bits of content last week.
Yes.
You were there hosting our match preview for the game, and you also spoke to a Bournemouth fan, Jeff, who previewed the game alongside you, because we do tend to hear from the opposition's point of view. And the tagline which we used from Jeff, the Bournemouth fan, was, "We'll definitely give you a game." And by God, did they give us a game.
Yeah,
they kind of played us at what we are very good at doing. The high press, he mentioned that on the preview as well, saying the high press is very similar to what Newcastle do. And I think from the first couple of moments when Bournemouth came out the traps, we knew we were going to be up against it.
Yeah, I think it wasn't just the high press. It was, like you said, the quality really shone through. And I think we spoke about before we started this podcast that there was a moment where I think it was Justin Cliver, the ball was just coming down and he just knocked it straight past Lewis Hall to the byline that led to a really good chance. And you just, that first 5 minutes, they looked shell-shocked. They just couldn't get a handle on the game, barely touched the ball. When they did touch the ball, it wasn't very good. But, you know, we'll get to how bad Newcastle were, but we first and foremost just have to give Bournemouth massive praise because they were coming into this with having lost in 10 or 11 games, and we can very much see why. Areola's got them playing very well. He's absolutely adored by the Bournemouth fans, and you can see why. But yeah, even with all the injuries, that starting 11 for Bournemouth, there was some real quality performances.
And we'll have to give credit to Bournemouth as well. It was mentioned on the preview that they'll have 12 fit players. Well, first team players they had, similar to what we experienced during the Champions League spell. We just couldn't change the starting lineup. Obviously, they played Chelsea, I think it was midweek, and struggled through that game with likes of injuries. Then coming up with St. James's Park, and we all know St. James's Park is a very hard place to come to this season to get a result. I just want to say first and foremost, Newcastle United deserve to get absolutely nothing from that game, nothing whatsoever. We've gone a goal down. Yes, we've got back in with the Bruno header, which was put in by Lewis Hall after Gordon took the corner first, which was horrendous. Hit the first man. But yeah, we'll equalise with Bruno. And apart from that moment, I was never confident that we were in the game. I just thought we were second best at everything. And I think it's Eddie Howe that's come out afterwards, and Dan Byrne as well. And they pinpoint and saying we were second in every part of anything to do with football. They're saying physicality, and the one thing which we pride ourselves on just wasn't there. We're beating at that. The speed of the game as well, that was all controlled from Bournemouth as well. There's not many players that came out from a Newcastle point of view that can think, yeah, I've had a decent game there. Probably Tonali or arguably
Tonali, and obviously it's you feel a little bit hard on Isak, given he was so starved of the ball as well. But then again, there was a few times he got in the ball in the second half and he was trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and it just wasn't happening. There was just so many things that it just spoke to that phrase of it's just one of those days. Because yes, Bournemouth were brilliant, and again, we'll rightly give them their praise. But again, Newcastle were poor. We players like Anthony Gordon, Lewis Hall, Tino Livramento, players who've been consistently very, very good for us in the last 9 games, were just having stinkers. You know, they couldn't hold on to the ball. I think we said before, it looked like Tino had his boots on the wrong way around for large parts of the first half and parts in the second.
Every time he got the ball, he seemed to just get it stuck under his feet, and he
Yeah.
just couldn't adjust himself.
Yeah.
And because of their high press, they were just constantly right. That's ours. And they were turning the possession straight over. Same with Lewis Hall, and everybody knows on this podcast, and probably every single Newcastle United fan is probably, apart from Isaac, I think Lewis Hall has probably been player of the season, I would say, because he's been fantastic right from the start of the season. Complete off day for him yesterday. He gets substituted off in 65th minute or something daft like that for Trips to come on, then Tino to go over on the left hand side, and it just wasn't his game yesterday. I felt a bit sorry for him at times, because I think it's probably a bit. I noticed Gordon wasn't really doing what Gordon does when he comes back and helps out in defense as well. I thought Gordon was hovering around centre midfield quite a lot yesterday, whereas Lewis Hall was left quite exposed down that side. Morse tactic to move Semenyo on the other side of the field, which just completely got rid of everything we would normally do on the right hand side as well. The Bournemouth have kind of got Eddie Howe's number.
They seem to, yeah. I don't know what it is. It's certainly not anything stupid. There's no sort of conspiracy theorists out there who are saying, might say, oh, they've still got a soft spot on them. It's nothing like that. I just think every time we seem to come up against Bournemouth, they're either in a good vein of form, or as well on the flip side of the coin, we just don't turn up for some reason. I think like early in the season, we were lucky to get a point there. Last season, we were lucky to get a point at home, the 2-2, when Matt Ritchie equalised. Not too sure what it is. It just seems like there might be our new bogey team.
I think we just have to put it down to that at the moment. And like a lot of people do come out and say exactly what you just said, saying, "Oh, like he's doing Bournemouth a favour." It's nothing to do with that. Eddie Howe wants to win every single game as manager, no matter who's managing at that moment in time. So it's nothing to do with that. I want to focus on a couple of our lads as well that had off games. We mentioned Hall and Tino, just didn't click for them yesterday. Bruno in the middle of the field, yes, he got his goal, but I think a lot of fans have been slowly getting frustrated how sometimes rather than playing the ball quicker, he tends to win the free kick and start the game again from that point. Yeah. He got caught out yesterday. Yes, the pass from Dan Burn to him wasn't the best, but Bruno's trying to win a free kick, then the go and score again. He's done it a few times, but yes, he did win a handful of free kicks from it yesterday, but also the referee wasn't conned by it every single time. Yeah. And every time that happened, Bruno was on the floor, smashing the floor as if, I've been absolutely smashed to bits here. When Bournemouth are just hitting on the counter attack.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know everyone loves Bruno, and I'm one of his biggest advocates because he's just one of the best midfielders we've ever had, in my opinion. He is brilliant at winning fouls. Like you say, there is a certain con artist to it. Sometimes very clever, invites the player coming in, the contact. And all
I
that
think
stuff.
He is currently the most fouled player.
He is, and I think he was last year as well. Yeah. But again, he's very canny the way he goes about it. But I think, like you say, the frustration's born of like it wasn't like we were holding on to a lead. Or it's great when you've got the impetus, but we need players who are going to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And again, it's like I said, Bruno was one of those players who didn't have a great game. I'll probably put blame equally across both Dan Burn and Bruno's shoulders for that goal, because I know
second goal, isn't it, just before?
Yeah, I think Bruno's probably asking for that ball, because he's always asking for even in tight situations, he's always asking for the ball. But it's a bit of a hospital pass, like he just fizz it into him and he's just got someone straight away. And yeah, just after that we just never really recovered, did we?
It wasn't the first time Dan Burn had done it as well, because he done it.
His passing was well off.
He'd done it in the was it the first half? I'm sure it was in the first half. There was a couple where one of them he tries to ping the ball across field, gets intercepted. There's another one that's unbelievably short, and at that point their coach, and they might not have been picked up on the TV cameras if you were watching at home, but one of the Newcastle United coaches got out the dugout, ran into the stands around behind Dubravka's goal, and told him to stop passing it short across the defence.
Okay,
and from then on in, he was putting it up top.
I do recall as well, there was a couple of like long balls he tried to play to Anthony Gordon twice in quick succession.
Dan Burn, when he tried to dink it over.
And Anthony Gordon literally and just started doing that, going, don't do it. Now, I don't know, it obviously wasn't working, but that's a strange one, isn't it? Like, he's getting told not to put it short, and then he's, don't be dinking it over to me. Yeah. I think he's basically saying, if you're gonna aim it at anyone, aim it at Isak or Joe Linton. Yeah. But his passing was off. And look, I mean, we're sort of maybe going off a little bit off pace here, but in terms of that performance, in terms of the openings that Bournemouth got, again, I'll keep reiterating that we just we had a bad day at the office. But those little cracks and creaks were shown against Wolves on Wednesday night. They got 3 very good chances, Wolves.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a 3-0. We still did enough to win the game, in my opinion. Of course we did. But, you're up against a really good side. You just can't afford to give them the ball the way we did. And I think when we had chances to maybe get our foot on the ball, they just sort of tread the ball like it was a hand grenade. They were just there was no calm and assurance. And don't get me wrong, a lot of that comes from Bournemouth's pressing game and not allowing us to do what we wanted to do. But we've seen teams come to us and try to press us. But it's not like we don't like the press. Do you know what I mean? I mean, no one likes it, but it's not like every time a pressing teams came to St. James's Park or we've went to their place, we've just felt a bit. It's just because we also weren't good. We couldn't find our way really back into the game especially after when it went 2-1. That's when I thought, I think
horrible time to concede as well.
Yeah, just before half time.
Then at that point as well, when we scored the second, there's an argument in the box between Dan Burn and Gordon. They are kicking off with each other.
This is for the second goal.
This is for just afterwards. So they score the second, then I think they hit Will again and try and come out again. Then we clear it for a corner. I think it goes out for a corner. And Dan Burn and Gordon are screaming at each other, trying to basically blame somebody on the field. Yeah. Dan Burn's telling Gordon to tell him basically to fuck off and tell him to go the other way. And they're just constantly going at each other. I saw that a couple of times. Sometimes I mentioned it on the podcast a few weeks ago. Sometimes I like to say that because, of course, you like to say that because they're annoyed at how things are going. Yeah. But I think you've summed it up pretty well. Like, yes, Bournemouth were absolutely fantastic. They really were coming to St. James's Park there and playing out the whole game. But like you mentioned, the reason we struggled to get back into it because it wasn't just one individual performance and one player that wasn't having a very good game collectively and individually. None of them really, like we mentioned Tonali, which we'll talk about in a bit more detail, but the rest of them, like you said, Isak was massively isolated, couldn't really get into the game, and when he did, he was probably trying a bit too much. You're trying to dance around players on the edge of the box, and you kind of feeling sorry, think, no, he only needs that one chance, and he can keep his run, even though we're losing the game, he can keep his run going, which will obviously build confidence throughout the team as well. It just Jacob Murphy yesterday as well. We went back to the Jacob Murphy, which most fans think he is that sort of player. He just struggled in the game. Yeah. But once again, if everybody on the field isn't performing, that's going to impact every other person.
Very much so. I think, like you've just said, the passing. Also, like I think because the confidence wasn't high because we were 2-1 down. There were certain points where like you were thinking they worked half a yard of space, whether it be a Gordon or Isak, Joe Linton. I remember Botman having a chance to hit it from a set piece in the first half, and he sort of knocks it, lays it off to Tino, and it's like, why are you doing that? There were so many chances they could have just hit it across the box for a cross or have a shot, and it just looked like they were scared to lose the ball. I think it really got to them, the fact that it's like they were well aware that everyone's having a nightmare. And I think even when you don't have confidence in yourself as a player, you're seeing that your other mates are having a nightmare. You're probably scared to pass them the ball as well, you know. So I think, it was a perfect storm for Bournemouth. Like brilliant, but it was. I keep going back to the fact that it was just one of those days, and I don't think it's anything really to be worried about. I felt like now I'm not really on Twitter for good reason, but you try to gauge what the reaction was like coming out of the ground, and there was about 3 or 4 people I overheard just being like what we are now, just sort of that was a doing, wasn't it? And we weren't very good and they were good, but never mind, we've just won 9 games on the bounce.
Well, you do have the other side of that as well.
Yeah, well, I'm thankful that I'm not bearing witness to that, and I've only spoke to people with their heads actually screwed on.
Yeah, so there is another side of that. People saying that that the players need a wake up call. These are the same players that have just gone and won 9 games on the bounce, and a lot of fans will say, and as I've been guilty of this at the times as well, where you go into a game and you think, oh, we should win this, right? I think most fans are probably guilty of that, looking at the opposition. I never thought about that about Bournemouth, because of their current form as well, and we'll never ever have a decent performance against Bournemouth, never. Like, we know that, so we shouldn't be looking at them going, oh, this is going to be a walk in the park. Far from that, of course it is. But then you do get people that say, it's only Bournemouth, we should be beating them, especially at St. James's Park, right? Yes, we do have the advantage at St. James's Park. I'll give you that. But then on the flip side of that, can you not arguably then say, well, we shouldn't be picking up points against the likes of Chelsea, Man City, whoever else may be, then obviously getting a result at the Emirates as well. On the flip side, we would be pissed off. Arsenal fans were going, "Oh, we should just beat Newcastle here."
Of course.
Like it's the same thing.
It's football. It's just football.
Yeah.
I was telling you about a to-do I had with someone in the stadium who doesn't normally sit there, and he was kicking off and just saying, we should be battering Bournemouth. In what world? Like what type of, in what world should we have the what's the word I'm looking for here? Just entitlement.
Yeah.
The entitlement. They feel entitled that, but it's just Bournemouth there coming. It doesn't matter if we've got a shite record against them. Doesn't matter that they've unbeaten in 10 games. Doesn't matter that they've already beat Man City, Arsenal, Man United. We should be battering them. That's not how football works. If it did, we'd all be very rich people because we'd be class of betting, which we all know I'm not. But I don't see how you can be so just suddenly forget about what's happened since Christmas. It's been amazing. It's been class. Yeah, it's I will say a wake up call. Just with the Creeks were there on Wednesday. We haven't improved. We've got to take our medicine. Now, come Saturday, we're going to Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
If we play shit there and don't get a result, negative it's allowed to be negative about that. But I think one loss in 10 games with the other 9 being wins in all competitions, I think you just need to sort of just get a bit of perspective. And I
think we need to look back over the current form as well. The resurgence was after the defeat to Brentford, which we were shocking in that game. We were shocking. It was
yes.
The 4-2 defeat.
Defensively.
Yes, we're all over the shop. But on the back of that, since the 14th of December, until obviously that game on Saturday against Bournemouth, Newcastle were undefeated since 14th of December. So you've got a 4-0 result against Leicester. You've got the quarter-final in the EFL Cup, which was the
Brentford
3-1 Brentford. Yeah. You've then got Ipswich away, 4-0 win, 3-0 to Villa, 2-0 at Old Trafford, 2-1 at Spurs ground. You then go and absolutely batter Arsenal in their own patch as well at the Emirates. You've got a FA Cup, a third round against Bromley. You've got that midweek one against Wolves, which is another 3-0. We've been scoring goals and not conceding many. Yeah. So I get people were pissed off yesterday. I really do get pissed. Like, I understand why people go, 4-1 defeat, right? I think 4-1, obviously 2 of those goals come in the dying minutes of the game because we're trying to continue it and get something from it. I get it. People are allowed to be angry. Nobody's saying you can't be angry. But you then have to look over the previous 9 games and say, that's a one-off that.
I mean, you know me, I wear my heart on my sleeve when it comes to Newcastle United, and I've been prone to having my own tantrums in the Leazes End, especially when we were rubbish. But we're not rubbish anymore, and it was so strange walking out that ground. It was the first time in a while where we've had a loss, and I've just been like, well, that happened. But it didn't ruin me Saturday.
I think it's because we deserved to get beat as well.
Exactly.
That's what it was. We weren't the better team on the day. And that's what you have to look at sometimes. If it was a close contest, you'd be like, but they've just nicked it. But fair enough. They battered us.
Yeah.
Like, they absolutely annihilated us from start to finish.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, the negative is born of frustration, like you say, because you feel like we should have got something, or one particular person, one player in particular, might have played terribly, and that's cost us, and you get frustrated, or how might have made a bad substitution or something like that, which very rarely happens in my opinion. But something that you can be a focal point of your frustration. It was just widespread. Well, that was cack, and Bournemouth were very good. Never mind. Like, it's not. We're still bang, as long as City don't absolutely smash Ipswich, we're still going to finish no lower than 5th this weekend, and we're still very much in amongst it.
With a decent fixture coming up to bounce back on as well.
Two decent fixtures, in my opinion. I always said that this was going to be the litmus test, and fortunately, we've failed it. But I said Wolves and Bournemouth, they're the two back-to-back home games against one side who's sort of at an upturning form to an extent, and one side who's playing very well. We've beat one of them. We've took a hammering off the second one. It is what it is. It is what it is.
And we'll have to look at Cliver as well. Like, what a game he had. Like, that third goal.
Do you know he done? He scored 1 goal from open play though so far this season, and he just absolutely smashes us.
He's got a hat-trick earlier in the season, didn't he?
Was it all penalties? Like?
Possibly all penalties, yeah. I'm sure that's his second hat-trick of the season.
That third one, I was right in line with it, and Dubravka doesn't move, and it's because he probably thinks it's going wide. Literally, the ball wobbled in the air.
Curve on it was crazy.
Ridiculous. It was crazy.
Obviously, we asked it as well, because we see him hit that, and you see Dubravka just looks at it and thinks, back of the net. He's already celebrating before that ball's even gone past Dubravka. Yeah. He knows exactly where it's going. There's a comment in from Scott as well that says, it was a hat-trick of penalties.
There you go.
Is there any other player that's ever done? There must be. There must be more.
I don't know.
Imagine it was a perfect hat-trick from penalties.
Wow,
Nutting it in.
Heading one. Just take a run and dive. Klinsmann into the back of the net.
John Terry when he cleared that ball that time.
Yeah.
John Terry, wasn't it? It's just like, I think we've got to sum it up by saying it was a bad day at the office.
I did the office, but I just don't see, like, this person I'm talking about, the Leazers end. Like, I don't see why you need to go so mental about it. Like, it was like the sky was falling. Like, it was like proper, they're all shit. Like, and I was like, just they've earned a little bit of, we were allowed to, like I say, criticise. No one's gonna, I'm not saying be buzzing that we got big 4-1 off Bournemouth.
Of course
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it can be an anomaly, and
you would get a different reaction, mine, if we had drew the last 4 games and we needed a
if this was
win.
at the start of the season when we were managing to get results but playing terribly, but then you'd get a beaten off someone, then you'd draw, and then it was just all over the place. You would be like, I'm fuming, and that's why I'm saying next Saturday, if we don't pull it, we're socks up, and we don't get a result against Southampton, then you by all means you're allowed to ask questions. But as of now, I'm just treating it as just the perfect storm for Bournemouth, and it was just a total anomaly. And we've got the manager who's not going to let that ride at all.
We've got the full week as well.
Yeah,
no midweek game, so we do have the full week there to basically pull the big boy pants back on and sort it out. And what a great opportunity as well, like going down to Southampton as well. Of course it is. A couple of things which I want to mention is, first of all, Semenyo. He would be really brilliant in our team.
Yeah, he's a very good player. I like him.
He's very, very good.
I do like him. Yeah, he just power, but skillful as well. Just like he seems like a very good winger. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't really take much notice of him last season. I was looking when I was doing the research for Bournemouth. I, for some reason, thought he was a new signing that they've got this season, but he has been there a couple of seasons, and he's really having a nice purple patch. And as much as he didn't actually get on the score sheet yesterday, he just when he went down injured, I was like, oh,
but you thought that
please go off, and he didn't. But yeah, fantastic player. Would look great in our team, but I don't think right as of now we're not going to see anyone through the door at Newcastle anytime soon. So
do you not think?
No, do you?
Well, it depends what you mean by soon. I think at some point in January we will.
Do you honestly think we're going to sign someone this month?
Yeah.
Off at you, like.
Yeah, I think. I don't know who, but I think
another keeper.
I think if we lose Miggy, which it looks like it is going to happen, then I think we will. Whether or not that's going to be a right winger is a different story. Obviously, rumours about Lloyd Kelly interested in Fenerbahce, wasn't it?
Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce.
Yeah, and you see Maxi there as well.
That's a strange one, that, by the way.
Yeah,
let's talk about that for just a second. Like, it was like something off a computer game. That, like, I've just signed him. Why would I sell him? And then they're saying that they've told them that the price isn't high enough. 6 million quid. I was like, well, no, they want whatever, 10, 12.
Yeah.
But it's just, you must be weird if you're like Kelly.
Being a funny old transfer window with rumours as well, though. Like, Dubravka's all done and dusted. He's on a flight apparently on his way. Then he's crying his eyes out in front of the away fans at the Arsenal game in the cup there. Then next minute he's back and sticking in goal as well. Strange one. Looks like he's signing, well, not a new deal, but maybe a bit of a bonus on his current deal.
Yeah.
It's all over the shop. I don't think anybody can disagree with it. What I want to mention as well is that Eddie Howe's now got a bit of a tough decision when it comes to centre backs. Botman goes off at half time and he's replaced by Shaw. I'm not sure what the reason.
Botman went down, but it seemed to go down with something late in the first half, but then he got back up. So whether he's hurt himself or not, or they just thought we're not controlling the ball or doing well with the ball, and Fabian Schär's obviously known for building moves and his passing and being able to switch play really well. Ironically,
lost the ball.
He literally was in the worst pass ever. Right back position. Yeah, took it off Tino, and like Gordon screaming for it, and I'm like, "There's a switch on, Fabs."
Yeah,
just whacked it across the floor straight to one of their central midfielders, and they just nearly scored.
Yeah,
I just thought, again, it's just one of those days. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a couple of comments here say Botman was feeling his groin, so we'll have to get Dr. Mark to tell where the groin is on tomorrow night's show. But yeah, that's the difficult decision now for Eddie Howe. And I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when Botman was returning from returning from injury. Who does he stick with? Dan Burns had such a fantastic season so far and undroppable to a certain extent. Yes, I'm excluding yesterday's performance from that. Of course I am. Fabian Shaw will know what we get from him. He's very good in possession. He's very good at pinging the ball out to the flanks as well, especially Gordon down on that down on the left hand side. Botman will know how good of a player he is from previous seasons. Yes, he has returned from injury, but he's kind of fit straight in there. We thought he would probably get slowly back introduced to that team, but no, Eddie Howe just went, bang, you're back in from the Arsenal game, I think it was, if I remember right.
Yes.
So what now? What is our centre-back partnership? What is that duo?
Well, ironically, we might have the decision made for us if Botman's feeling tight in the groin. So said it like quite sexy there. Tight in the groin.
Lower your voice next time you do that.
Tight in the groin. I would probably say he's going to probably persist with Botman Ben. But I think, like you say, Fabian Schär, I think he came on yesterday, and I was hoping that was going to instill some calmness in like passing the ball around the back four and stuff. Obviously, it didn't. But I think he will probably persist with Ben and Botman. I think, like you say, Ben at the moment is untouchable. He didn't have a very good game at all yesterday. We know that, but he has been brilliant for us at centre half this season. I think he's a big part of. He is one of the captains on the pitch, isn't he? So was he captain yesterday?
Bruno would have been.
Was it Bruno? Is it still Bruno?
Bruno was captain, yeah.
I thought he took up for some reason.
No, he wore the captain's armband when the game that Bruno's banned. Suspended. But yeah, Botman, Bruno's been captain since the start of the season.
So just to sort of go off pace again, it's the day of the PSR mags. So you've got Mint has just scored against Man United and Anderson.
All right,
for Nottingham Forest. So
people will be kicking off about that again.
PSR mags of they're doing well.
What I do want to mention as well, because I mentioned this last week, I think it was on the All Smile and Faces podcast, which we do on a Monday, was the situation with Sean Longstaff and Lewis Miley in regards to who is higher on the pecking order now. What's your thoughts on that?
I think Miley's starting to slowly edge forward. I
agree.
So you're hearing these rumours as well that possibly Sean Longstaff could go to a Leeds or an Everton or something like that for £12 million. I just feel that Miley's just got a bit more about him. I think
we saw it against Wolves, I think it was as well, where Miley made it on the field, whereas Longstaff didn't.
And he seems to look to carry the ball a lot more. He's a bigger physical presence. The kid's massive, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I forget how he's not just tall and like lanky now. He's really, you saw him in closed season. He's been like hitting the gym and getting personal trainers in and stuff. So yeah, I think pecking order wise, it's probably going to be Lewis Miley. But whether or not that leads to Sean Longstaff actually leaving, I'm not too sure.
I'm going to end on this next one. It's from Scott. That says, "What has happened to Willock this season?" I mentioned this in the group chat yesterday, seeing can we address the situation with Willock, because when Willock is injured, I can't wait for him to be back on that field, because I know he can be a very good player, a very, very good player. This season, I think he struggled. He's never really had that run of games. Arguably, I think he had a little patch when it was him and Joe Linton back to what we used to see, where the left and midfield used to swap over a little bit. We had a couple of games where they played well together, but I don't know. It's not working for him this season.
Yeah, I think
very hard, obviously, with that midfield three as well.
Well, that's what I think it is. I think you've just sort of made my point for us is the fact that he hasn't had that run of games, and you can't begrudge that, because he's probably on the outside looking and might be frustrated, but he's probably thinking, well, it ain't broke. Eddie's not going to fix it. When he was fit last season or seasons past, that partnership he got going with Joe Linton on the left-hand side was amazing. Absolutely class. And we've seen him come on to try and do that in games, and he just seems like he can't get any momentum going. It's very stop-start. I think there was a couple of good performances early in the season, but then he got injured, took a knock, and then he's back in again. And yeah, on when he's on form, he's class. He's still a very quick player, good technically, but I think he needs to play games to get that momentum. And right now, we can't afford to give him that time because we've got 3 fantastic central midfielders.
Would he be, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here before people jump at us and go at me through, because people tend to do that when I start asking people questions that are on here, thinking those are my opinions. They're not. I'm just having a conversation here.
How dare you?
Could Willock possibly be one that the club could look at possibly selling? We've mentioned Sean Longstaff bringing in a big cash there if they go
How
down.
much we signing for? 28 million.
It was a loan, wasn't it, to start with?
Loan,
so there would have been a loan fee plus whatever.
And then but then it was like 20
was,
million.
yeah.
I don't know, and I think it would be harsh for him to be put out, but everyone's got a price, and everything now is the game's played on spreadsheets, not just on the pitch. So we'd have to see. I wouldn't want to see him go. I'd be upset to see. I'd be upset to see any of these players go though. I've attached myself.
Ooh, you've became attached, haven't you?
I've fell in love with this team, and like that's why, because of what they've done in the last 3 years. Because whether some people might tell you different, it's just been absolutely amazing for the most part. You know, to not be looking over your shoulder at the wrong end of the table anymore, and trying to get into Europe and being in Europe in 1 year and getting the cup finals and stuff. So I all have a special place in my heart, but I think if the right offer came in, they'd obviously entertain it. But I think it's one of those ones where it'd have to be as of right now, his stock's not very high. So I don't see who would come in for them, especially with a price that they'd be happy to part ways with him for. So
speaking about potential bids that may come in for players,
okay,
there's rumours. I'm not sure if you've seen the rumours today.
Rumour me up, right?
I'm going to
rumor
you right up, mate. Don't worry about that. One of our players, so this is Fabrizio Romano, and Jules and Scott have both mentioned this in the last couple of minutes. He has reported today that Newcastle United have received a verbal bid from Juventus for which player, Matthew?
Is it like dead funny? Is it like funny? Is it a bit out there? Or is it
kind of, yeah.
Emil Kraft?
No.
Oh. I'll have one more guess. Where the player? Let's tell me where the player.
A defender.
Defender?
Yeah.
Dan Burn?
No.
Oh.
Lloyd Kelly.
Lloyd Kelly?
Yeah.
What's he? Do they know something about him that we don't?
YouTube video that we don't know exists.
Maybe they've got like, maybe he's just been class on a Football Manager save for someone or something like that, and they've just went, just get him in his class. Really?
Yeah. Apparently so. What's a verbal offer? Why do a verbal offer?
Yeah. Someone just literally rang Paul Mitchell.
Yeah, right.
Right.
How's your Sunday?
Yeah. Kelly, fancy it.
Is he going to find a badge yet?
Yeah. That's weird.
I'm not writing on a bit of paper though.
yeah. Wouldn't dare. I'm not sending an email.
Sunday. I don't want my laptop on.
That's why it is, because it's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. You only bid with your voice. That is bizarre. Like, what's going on? Look, to be honest, like I've had a few people like little mutterings at the matches and that, like, oh, he's shite. And I'm like, look, he's barely had to play. He's played some dodgy games at left back when we weren't playing.
Got a great assist from left back position.
He did. But for me, we haven't seen enough of him yet, and but obviously he must be well thought of.
When's Lascelles due back?
I don't know.
Can't be long. Obviously, it was similar in Botman, wasn't it? If not the same.
I don't know, man. But I honestly, I don't know.
I'm just thinking, obviously, if obviously we've got Dan Burn, Fabian Shaw, Botman back now, possibly Kraft can play at centre back as well. Possibly, God knows about Lascelles. Let's say in a month or something before he's back. Maybe that is why we're open to offers for Kelly, because that's pure money. That pure money,
pure cash, mate. Pure profit. Nothing shocks me now in the way that like I said, football's done. Like that PSR nightmare we had in the summer was bizarre. It seemed to come out of absolutely nowhere, and I was like, "Yeah, we're selling Anderson, we're selling Minter." And I remember being like, "That's not happening."
Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah.
No, it did. It happened, and it had to happen
in a day.
Yeah, it happened in a space of a day, and we signed a keeper for £20 million allegedly. It was wild. But yeah, that's so strange. I don't know, but watch this space, I guess. But I mean, Fabrizio Romano, I've sort of gone off him.
Why? Just because he throws
shit he used to be the geezer, didn't he? But like, if he says it, then there's an element of truth. And now he's like, a lot of people say, he's a bit more of an aggregator, and he just takes the chance of tweeting something in the hopes that, because he said what's his name, João Pedro, here we go.
He did,
Newcastle, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ornstein's the one. Ornstein's who you listen to.
Yeah.
But no, that'd be bizarre. Imagine if you end up seeing him in the UV top. That would be
Not
crazy.
the black and white stripes we thought would be seen him in.
Swap the black and whites for Turin. Is it Turin?
Yeah.
The old lady.
But yeah, we are going to end it there. It's been a pleasure, mate.
It's been nice. It's a nice little Sunday chat. You know, we've all been through the ringer in the last 24 hours.
We've all slept on it.
We've all slept on it.
We've all calmed the fuck down.
And we all just need to calm down and take the medicine. Everything will be fine.
And we're going to bounce back anyway.
That being said, one thing I am going to say, and I said this before you.
Okay.
That's what I get for being positive. I was dead positive.
Matty was very positive.
I was very positive on that. Both
videos
I did. But I shan't be going back to being pessimistic, though. Hopefully, we'll be talking next weekend about us beating Sheffield. Southampton 5-0. But we'll see.
Yeah, there will be more stuff coming this week. Obviously, you will have a match previews this week as well. The Always Smiling Face podcast will be back tomorrow evening. I believe all 4 of us are there tomorrow evening as well. So we'll be going live around about 7:30. I'll never say 7:30. Around about 7:30. I'll tell you what, it's not going to be before 7:30.
Yeah. See what time Bessie gets there.
Yeah, it'll be around 7:30. Canny Chat is this week as well. That's been recorded as well.
Let's see if we can get someone from Southampton to talk to me as well.
Yeah, we'll find somebody. We'll find somebody from Southampton. We'll try and do it Beyond the Lines as well because it went down really well again this week. It
was nice to do him again. It was nice to do him again. Shout out again to Jeff from the Back on the podcast. He was.
Hope you're happy, Jeff.
Yeah. Look what you did, Jeff. Oh,
we'll definitely give you a game.
Definitely give you a game, but it's maybe a step too far, is it, Jeff?
We've already got 11 fifth players.
Yeah, I think
Jeff.
I think Newcastle win 2-1. Jeff. K&L, Jeff. Hope you and your dog are happy. Lovely man, though.
People that haven't listened to, I know obviously it's from a game that we've just obviously had what Arsenal's handed to it. But please go and listen to the first
20 seconds,
30 seconds of Beyond the Lines with Matty and Jeff, because there's a special guest appearance as Matty starts talking from his dog.
And then later on, we talk about Bournemouth's European prospects, and the dog starts kicking off again.
It's like the dog knew.
Yeah. Oh, I want to talk.
The dog knew.
It battered someone's ear, a couple of people's ears. They told me.
But yeah, plenty more stuff coming as well this week. So just like this one, it means a lot to us. Like this video, become a subscriber. It costs you nothing to do that. Absolutely not a penny. If you do want to give an extra bit back, it is just $2.99 a month to become a member. You get early access to the lot of videos which we do as well. And I promise you there will be a lot more videos coming as well. So yeah, what you guys doing? Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Don't dwell on it too much. It's a blip. We'll move on. We recover. And we'll get the win next week. See you later.
Bye.
Ta-ra, everybody.
The GallowgateShots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.